listening? Damn.
Hey guys, I'm Courtney.
And I'm Josh.
Welcome to the Infinite Balance Podcast.
We'll navigate parenting, relationships, health, fitness, and so much more.
So get a drink, pull up a chair, and let's hang out.
Hey guys, what's going on?
What up?
Welcome back. This is some episode 4.
4. I feel like we've been doing this like forever.
Yep. It feels like it, but I think it's mostly because we're so excited to get to doing it.
Yeah, it's definitely in a good way.
Like we had, for example, this is like a good solid party-filled weekend because it's Courtney's birthday, and it feels like it's been Courtney's birthday for the last 3 days. But it's been an awesome time. And, no matter what, we said we got to, do the recording and get to the podcast and make sure we do everything. But it's all a part of the fun because, we're excited to do it.
Yeah, big birthdays means big celebrations, but we still wanted to do this. We didn't want to let it go.
Big 3-0. So what we're going to be talking about today is motivation. I think a lot of people have their own struggles, especially parents, those with kids, those without kids, those that have things going on in their life. Everybody has their own motivational issues. And I think we're going to try to hit most of them today that we can think about from our experiences, what we do to get through them, tips and tricks that we know that we try to do.
And it's not just where you are in your life. It's also, there are seasons where motivation is hard. And a lot of people see that usually sometime in the beginning of the summer, I feel like, because it's the summer, they want to be out having fun. And also right around now, you have Halloween where there's lots of candy and goodies, and you have the holidays, and it throws people off track no matter what they're trying to be motivated for. There's also seasons that cause you to lose that motivation. So I think we're going to also tackle that.
Yep. And especially this time of year, it comes down to people foreshadowing or, seeing what's coming up. Everything that you just listed, you have Christmas down the road, you have New Year's down the road.
Hanukkah.
All they're seeing is huge festivals and parties and eating and stuff like that, whether or not it's drinking, whatever else is included. There's tons of family stuff. There's a lot of hectic stuff going on. It's the hardest to start, but it's also your most powerful start.
Mm-hmm.
You got to think of it like if you're going into all these things, it's so easy to be like, I'm just going to wait until afterwards. Well, as 2020 has shown us, afterwards might be an entire year later than that. You
might have so many obstacles before that.
Yeah, there might be things that just steamroll and keep on going. So really, anything in life can be an issue or an excuse to not do it.
Mm-hmm. So
one easy way to start working on that is the most hardest way at the same time is to just start doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I talked a lot with a challenge with somebody who's going to be on the show in the next couple of months. And I'm doing this challenge, and we both agreed that it's a really important time to start this challenge now because of everything coming up, the election, all the holidays and everything. And it's just a crazy time of year. It's the time people start getting a little bit depressed because it's darker out and whatever. So we thought this would be the strongest start to that because of all this that's coming up and, to really build a strong habit base.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine actually give me great advice because I've had a couple of clients say to me, I'm just not motivated right now. It's hard to stay on track when I know there's going to be so many things causing me to go off track. And my friend said, she was like, but isn't this the best time to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can do it and stay motivated and stay on track, in this case with fitness and health, if you can stay on track during such a hectic, crazy time with so many things saying you shouldn't stay on track, you're going to feel so much more empowered at the end of it because come January when everyone else is just starting, you'll already be started. You'll
mm-hmm.
be well into it
mm-hmm.
and you're going to feel so much better. And that just really resonated with me because part of what got me to be motivated in my health and fitness journey was COVID. And a lot of people looked at COVID as like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to take time, I'm going to relax, and that's absolutely fine if you did that. But I looked at it as, this is my opportunity. You know, I had been back at work a couple of days, kept saying I was going to use the gym there, and just wasn't. I didn't have that motivation. And then COVID struck, and I was like, hey, I'm going to be at home. I could either sit here doing nothing and gain all the baby weight back, or I could use this time to focus on myself and my family and do what's going to be best for them.
Yeah.
And so it's also really important to find what motivates you.
Yeah.
What's going to get you to do those things that you want to do, whatever they may be.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think that's true for me as well to a degree. You are definitely one of the biggest things that has motivated me this past year. Like, I completely blame you for everything that's happened progressively on my end.
Blame in a good way.
Yeah, because, you know, I started seeing you trying to better yourself and upgrade your life and try to wake up early and get things done and get things moving, and how you're progressing with the Beachbody stuff. And that influenced me to want to do it as well, you know. And it's not... I think it to some degree it started as a comparison thing, like, wow, I really feel like a lazy slump. But then it became like a thing where, like, no, this is what was meant to happen. Like, the universe had you do this because right at this point, it's the best way to get me into it too, you know, and we're going to bounce off of each other, and the universe just takes that and runs with it, you know? And I had the motivation to get started with my IIN training a long time ago, my nutritional training, and it was seasonal completely, like you were talking about before, where I was motivated. I was killing schoolwork. I was doing everything I had to do. I got my certificate, and then, like, all of a sudden I was out in the open, and I kind of didn't exactly know what to do. And then, you know, it kind of dropped off after that, and I fell into a rhythm with everything that was happening. And, you know, when things feel like they're mounting up to the sky, I can let that motivation go very easily. But I also have my time. Like, one of my routines is, when I notice that happening, I will actually take a couple of days and just kind of revert back to myself. And, you know, I know that you've done this too, and we talked about it sort of in the last episode where you took your weekend. But, you know, it's sort of a thing for me to step back and just take a deep breath every once in a while and not have to think about progression and what I'm doing, and just go with it. You know, maintain my workout, maintain, you know, hanging out, maintain going somewhere with family for a little bit, maintaining whatever, you know. And then I give myself a certain amount of time, and then I kick right back into it. I'm like, I have 2 days, I have 3 days to just do this, and then boom, we're back, you know. And I think that works out really well for me, and it prevents those burnout periods, you know. But I don't know, you know, exactly if you feel 100% the same way, you know, all the time, because I tend to do it like every 2 weeks or so, you know.
Yeah, for me with motivation, I find I need, when it comes to my fitness journey, I need a program. And I get super duper excited when I'm starting a program or I'm restarting a program. And then I get to a point, depending on how long the program is, where after a couple of weeks, I start to lose that motivation. And then I remember what the goal is. So the program I'm doing right now, it's to run a 5K in 30 days. So I know if I fall off right now going into week 4, I am ruining all that progress, and I'm not going to hit that goal to run a 5K in a week and a half.
Yeah.
And so I always have to have a goal. That's what motivates me, is having a goal. And when I end a program and then don't have a new one, I lose that focus. I'm like, well, I don't have a program, so there's no set goal. So setting goals for me, like I said, is a huge part of my motivation in the fitness side of things. When it comes to the business side of things, and not my full-time job, but my Beachbody job, I become super motivated with why I'm doing it. There's a lot of really personal reasons as to why I want to be a coach and be a health and fitness instructor. And in order to see that happen, I need to remember why I'm doing it. Because there are definitely days and weeks and months and seasons where it's really hard to want to push in a business.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you have your own business. It becomes easy to just be like, this is the beginning of it. This is the startup, the nitty gritty. It's ugly. I don't want to do this anymore. It's hard. I'm just going to give up. But having that reason, of having, I'll say it, financial freedom for our family, to create my own schedule, to be my own boss, to be around my kids more. Not that I don't love my full-time job, but it's a lot. So I need to remember that big reason for a lot of things. And then when it comes to my full-time job, obviously the goal is keeping that job.
Yeah.
So I know I have to hit a certain recruiting number, and so that's my motivation. There are days in the same aspect of running my own business where hitting that goal seems impossible. Just because right now recruiting for college sports is really hard because people don't know if they want to go away to college. But I remember that goal, that if I don't hit that number, I don't have a job. So it's finding whether it's a forced goal or finding a personal goal.
Goals are your motivation.
Goals are my motivation. And I constantly have to remind myself of what those goals are in order to stay motivated. And they do alter. It's okay if you have a goal for it to shift. It's okay if one week you're like, my goal is that I want to lose 10 pounds in 2 months. It's okay if then the next week you're like, you know what? That's not really what I want. I want to run a 5K in 2 months. Or I want to drop 2 inches in 2 months. But it's okay for your goals to change and shift.
Yeah.
They should.
I think throughout my experience with it is, I'm not really goal oriented unless it's something I'm absolutely obsessed about. And even then I can allow myself to fall off. It's what motivates me now is, and I think I really needed to dig to find this, is that I know personally for myself that I always have the potential to be and do better. And I think that's what motivates me, is the mentality where, if I know I've been letting my recovery days go a little bit too long or whatever, I start thinking to myself, like, you're supposed to be doing something. You can get back into it now. You're ready. So what's the excuse? And if the answer comes up blank, I get back into it. I just have to do that. And I've really used that as working my way through my excuses and the things that I can use to become unmotivated or not do anything. And I think that's really worked out for me. I work very well off of the mentality that, like, I heard it somewhere and I forgot where I heard it from, but somebody had said once that if you don't like doing something, why do it twice? Or something to that effect. So originally it was a statement about sleep. It was about, do you have a problem waking up in the morning? Do you hit the alarm 5 times? And then they said, well, if you don't like to get up in the morning, why do you want to make yourself go through it 2, 3, 4 times? And I've kind of expanded that across everything to really try to push myself and better myself. Like, it's true. Some days to get up in the morning, it literally takes standing up before you think about it. Like, don't give yourself a chance to get those reasons involved. Your alarm goes off, make it your trigger to stand up. You're standing up, you're already up. There's no point in laying back down, Turn it off, get dressed and go,
It's like controlling that second thought.
Yeah.
When you first wake up,
Kids' toys, sorry guys.
When you first wake up, you don't really have full control over your first thought, because most of us, when we first hear that alarm go off, it's 5 more minutes. But you can change the script and control that second thought of, okay, I'm going to have a great day. I've got this lined up. Whatever it is, you control that second thought to get that motivation.
Yeah, and you can reprogram yourself to do this. And it might take a little time. Somebody had asked me recently, what he could do to start getting up earlier. That was his motivation. And I actually talked to him about this stuff. And I said, it's about reprogramming your habit already. Give yourself 2 weeks. Give yourself a set goal. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, however much you need. Make sure you're getting that time and just work towards that goal. Give yourself 2 weeks. That gives you time to make mistakes, gives you time to readjust and take a step back. Is this working for me? Is it not? And after 2 weeks, you have a solid idea, and now you're ready to achieve this goal. Mm-hmm. And I don't even know if he realized it right away. He had talked to somebody else, and he got motivated by something that they said, and he put it together himself that after this 2-week start, that 7 a.m. was a good start for him. And I was like, see, that's what it's about. Whether you know it or not, that 2 weeks gives you that time to get into the flow. Might be different for some people, might be a month, might be a week. But the thing is to give yourself that window that you honestly need. Not extra time, whatever, that you honestly need. And I a self-plug, I have a website, JBBalance.life. And on there I have a blog, and one of the blogs that I wrote was about neuroplasticity. And you can literally reprogram neural pathways in your brain. So if you are triggered to eat something when you're stressed out, it takes time to break it down and to figure it out. And that's part of what I do, what I help people with, mm-hmm. is to break these things down and reverse engineer them in your brain. And so that when it'll become a subconscious thought that you pick up on this trigger and that you reprogram it to do something else. And I think that's the most important part about motivation that people don't give enough respect to, is that like we were just saying, that that's really what it takes. It takes that time and it takes that energy. But once you do it, it really will make everything better. It really will become so easy to pick up on that habit and use it every day. It won't even be as much energy as you originally put to it. It'll just be your reaction,
And there are different things that people need motivation to do. Mm-hmm. You need the motivation to not order out tonight. You need the motivation to just cook. You need the motivation to just clean. I mean, I know a lot of what we're talking about are kind of bigger things, but you can apply those mm-hmm. to the same things. I mean, even just cooking and cleaning, if you order out, let's say 5 nights a week, and you want to start cooking more, you pull that back. Like the first week, okay, you know what? We're only going to order out 3 times, mm-hmm. and then only 1 time. And you pull those layers back. And it's the same with cleaning. Start with 1 room.
Yep.
I'm going to go ham on this 1 room. And then next week, I'm doing these 2 rooms. It's finding a way to ease yourself into it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that you can't jump into it. I know when I started working out in March again, I kind of jumped full force into it. And I was waking up at, I want to say 5:30 a.m. I just jumped into it. Mm. But I'm a morning person, and I can do that. So it's also knowing your limitations mm-hmm. and pushing them just a little bit. 5:30 a.m. was definitely early for me. Mm-hmm. But I also knew 6 a.m. wasn't going to give me enough time. 5:30 was enough time to do my half-hour workout before the kids got up. And so it's a lot of figuring out you and knowing yourself and how to push yourself to get that motivation.
I think you're exactly right.
What works for me isn't going to work for Josh. What
right.
works for Josh isn't going to work for Sally. What works, it's not, there's no one set way that works. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that we're really good at, is helping each other figure out what we need to do to get that motivation.
Yeah. Even just hearing different ideas, even if they're not ideas that work for you, mm-hmm. they can spawn ideas later on. They can, just bring up things like side thoughts or whatever about what might work, and you might give that a try. It's about the person and the end result. It's about the journey to get there. And sometimes one set system works for you, sometimes both systems, sometimes you'll need to find a 3rd, 4th, 5th resource. eventually it'll all come around and you will find a way to do it. And it matters how much you're open to things. It matters how much you know yourself. There's a lot to it. But I think starting small and starting simple is the biggest thing with anything, like diets or exercise or really anything.
Cooking and cleaning.
Cooking and cleaning. Even if it's a habit that you love to do and you want to change it because you know something's better. Really finding your why is the biggest jump into whatever you're going to do. They even said it in my coaching training where everybody says if you're in businesses and whatever to niche down your market, get specific. And if what they're overall telling you is what about yourself are you trying to help, and it's the same question. What's your why? Who are you that you needed to find this information to bring to other people? And I know that you've gone off of that a lot with your Beachbody stuff. That's where I got the phrase, what's your why? Like, we've said it differently 100 different times.
There's a million different
But it's the
ways to
same,
say it.
yeah, it's the same exact thing.
And that was a big thing when I did decide to jump into the coaching, because I didn't jump in right away. I think it was about a month and a half after I started working out that I was like, I'm loving this. I want to help other people feel this good. Was one of the first things my coach and mentor, Kristen, who's going to be on the show also soon, she was like, okay, what's your why? Why are you doing this? Because if you don't have a reason for your motivation or to fix what we've kind of been using interchangeably is habits, because your habits and your motivation go hand in hand, because you have to be motivated to change a certain habit. That's usually what your motivation is for. And so if you don't have that why as to why you want to change that habit or why you want to create a new habit, that motivation won't be there. That why is your motivation. And I think that's so important to remember, is that your motivation is not just to do something.
Right.
No, why do you want to cook more? Because you want to save money, usually. Yeah. Why do you want to clean more? Because you're tired of having a dirty house. Yep. Why do you want to work out? Because you don't feel great. Because you want to be healthier. Whatever it is, it could be as small or as big. I know a lot of people who I coach with, their why is because they want to be home with their kids. So they want to create their own business that they can stop working and work from home. It can be as big or as little. And, I like to approach it with my clients. I like to kind of throw, if they're having trouble with something, I like to throw, okay, well, you could try this, or this to change that habit. Kind of throwing everything out the wall to them and seeing what sticks, what they're interested in, and then working from there with them. I recently did that with one of my clients. I absolutely love her. We do check-ins basically every Monday, if not more than that. And she was really struggling with being motivated. And so I was like, okay, well, we could try X, Y, and Z. And she was like, oh, well, Z sounds really interesting. And I believe it was a habit tracker. And that's where we're starting. And I'm doing it with her. So she's not doing it on her own. We're both trying to change some habits. And that also, for some people, works really well when they have someone to do it with, to hold them accountable to making that change motivationally, to change that habit. Yeah. So again, it just goes back to finding what's going to work for you.
Yeah, I think that's incredibly universal. I think it's important for everybody. A lot of people say that they come up with something just because they think they should. Well, that's honestly not good enough, for lack of a better way to put it. If you read something in a magazine that says you should quit smoking, it's not going to be as powerful as if a relative dies of lung cancer or if you can't breathe well. That's going to be incredibly more powerful because it's a personalized why. It's not just somebody telling you to do it. I want to lose weight because I want to do this because I want to be able to breathe better, run better, whatever, I want to be closer to the one I love. A billion examples. Yeah. But I think it's just got to be honest, truthful, and personal. So I kind of touched on one of the tips that I've known that works with people, with my clients that I work with, where if it's hard, so impossible to get motivated, then start doing what I said before, where you don't let yourself think about it. You jump into it.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the easiest things that people usually have an issue with is getting enough sleep. So, and I understand from, my background with everything that I have going on and, anxieties and things like that it's hard to get to sleep. But your routine will fall into place after you get the initial steps down,
mm-hmm.
which is when your alarm goes off, get up. Just stand up. Make it your thing. Beep, beep, you're up. You're already standing there.
Put your phone in a different room.
Yep. Or put your phone across the room. Make yourself get out of bed to turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll find that after a month, it's going to be so much easier than when you started doing it. And it's the same thing, you really have to be aware of yourself and in the moment. When you open up that refrigerator, take a self-evaluation. Make opening that door a self-review. Am I hungry? What do I want? Sweet? Not sweet? Salty? And then really try to work with your body to steer those cravings, Exercise. I think the one thing that motivated me the most to start exercising or to exercise when I really don't feel like it is to remember the feeling of my previous exercise. Like when I had a good gym workout or a good, session at home or whatever, and I felt great after that. Like I'm one that likes when I feel sore afterwards and likes when I feel like I can flex something and whatever. So, I put that into my mind and I make myself crave it, and and that's my motivation for that. What about you? What are some of your motivations for?
So for me, what motivates me to kind of keep on the same track of like a workout is I know I'm going to feel great. Mm-hmm. Even if I'm not super into it during it for whatever reasons, I know at the end of that workout, I'm going to be so dang proud that I did it and that I accomplished it and that it was hard, but I did it. Accomplishing something hard is always such a big goal of mine. I feel so good after it. And when it comes to working out in the morning or even just getting up in the morning, I try to be up by 5 o'clock every morning, whether I'm working out or not. 5 o'clock is my go-to time. And that's because I need that time to myself. Mm-hmm. Because I know at night, if I wait until the kids go to bed, I'm going to lay in bed by myself, watch some TV while Josh is doing whatever he might be doing or just before he comes to bed. And I'm just going to watch TV. And that's fine, but it's not going to be relaxing. Because all of the thoughts of things oh my gosh, I didn't get this done. Okay, well, let me do it real quick. That's going to come into my head where if I'm up at 5 a.m., I can still take 30 minutes to watch TV by myself. Where I don't have a lot of thoughts yet because it's the first thing in the morning. Mm-hmm. I can take that time to work my business, an early start so that it's done for the day. So that while I'm at work or while I'm with the kids or while I'm with Josh, I don't have to focus on that. And when I do my workouts in the morning, it's because I know I'm doing my workout uninterrupted. Mm-hmm. I don't have the kids hanging off of me and I'm not doing it at work where I'm in charge of the fitness center. So if I'm working out in the fitness center, any issue that comes up, they come to me. And that's fine. That's what they're there for. I'm at work. But I know it's going to be most likely an interrupted session. And so if I just get up and I start my workout at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I just pump it out and I'm done by 6:37, I'm done for the day. Yep. I feel really good to start my day. I have the energy. I'm in a great mood. And I know it went uninterrupted. Mm-hmm. I don't have to stress about it the rest of the day. So those are just some things that for me really motivate me to do whatever it is I need to do first thing in the morning or to get through my workout.
Yeah.
I think we touched on a lot.
Yeah.
And I know we say this all the time, like ask us questions. If you have a question that maybe we didn't answer in this reach out. Like, just shoot us an email, reach out on social media. Like, we'll answer.
Pick our brains.
Yeah, we are here for that. This is why we're doing this, so that if something we say sparks a question in your mind and we didn't necessarily answer it, let us know. We'll hook you up.
And even with some of the examples that we did give, there's 1,000 different ways to address 1,000 different people's same scenario.
Yeah.
You know, it comes down to whatever works for you. It comes down to really getting intimate and talking about what's going on, you know? And that's a very important part.
Yeah.
Lightning rounds.
I was just going to say, I think I know what time it is. We do have to answer one together that was asked to us on social media.
This guy's name is John. I won't give out the last name, but you can follow him at Scars from the Field on Instagram. He also has a podcast that I've been featured on in his most recent episode called Scars from the Field. So I just figured I'd give him that plug because he's a cool guy. So, you're welcome, John.
So our first lightning round question. How long has Josh been growing that beard?
Since 2018. September, to be exact.
He does trim it.
I do. I actually stopped doing that because I want to grow it longer. Like, I don't know.
Lumberjack.
Or Santa Claus, whichever.
Well, you're not. And the second part is if I like him with or without it. Which is very easy for me to say. I love him with or without it. But I do absolutely love him with it. It doesn't bother me. I think it suits you. It suits your personality. And you love it.
I think the worst part for you is when I don't keep my mustache under control. Because, I mean, it bothers our kids. You know, it tickles their face or whatever. And sometimes it annoys them. Sometimes they're just like, oh, haha, whatever.
Yeah, but, I call you out on it, though.
Yeah. It reminds me to brush it up and stuff. Which I try to. But
I love it. I like you with it.
So that was our first for each of us.
Our first social media lightning round question.
You the bomb, John.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to ask... I'm going to ask you first. And this kind of is not about motivation, but that's what lightning round questions are for.
Yep.
What is your favorite part of my birthday weekend?
Favorite part about your birthday weekend? I mean, obviously there's like spending it with you and whatever, but yeah. But, just not having anything to do, just hanging out with you guys. And, we went out to a couple of great places and we had a good weekend. We were off the social medias and stuff. So there was an all around, just a good weekend, That was my favorite stuff.
I agree.
And we did farming stuff, and we went to a farm and a cider mill and stuff. Farming. But it's close enough to farming for my taste.
Yeah.
It reminded me of older days, so.
And we were near a lot of farms.
Yeah.
Which was nice.
Yeah. I'm not a farmer, but I like that stuff,
He would love to be a farmer.
Yep.
All right, what's my question? I tried.
What's been your biggest fear when it comes to motivation?
Failure. I'm afraid of failure. I don't like it. And I don't think anybody likes failure. But I also then have to remind myself that if I fail, that's a lesson that I wouldn't have learned if I hadn't tried. So failure is definitely the hardest thing for me it's the biggest pushback when I'm trying to get motivated is that little voice in my head saying, well, what if you fail? And a podcast that I listen to, she says it all the time is, but what if you succeed? And so I always try to tell myself that in the opposite of what if I fail? But what if I succeed? And if I do fail, I fail. But now I know what doesn't work.
Right.
So it's my biggest fear, but also slightly a motivation in the same step.
I was actually going to ask you that.
Yeah, it's a fear and a motivation. And I think that's something that everyone should remember is that it could be, your fear can be turned into your motivation. 1000%.
What I like, I think I referenced it on the show before, in like the first episode or something, But I like what Maston Kipp said when he was a speaker at my school at one point, and he's a big, motivational guy. He's very famous. Um, he said something along the lines of, your fear is your guide. If you're afraid of something, that is your worry or your inner self telling you which way to go. It's kind of like your compass. And I like that, and that really has been a life-changing thing for me, because if I'm terrified to follow through with something or to do something, I make myself do it. And what like I talked about a challenge that's coming up that I'm doing, and I told the person that I'm coordinating this with that I'll do anything. I'll do videos, I'll do talking, I'll do whatever, because if I'm uncomfortable with it or I'm afraid to do it, that makes me want to do it more just because of hearing that. Yep. And it's been true in every situation that I've experienced so far. So that's just a good point.
There you go. It's my turn to ask you.
Yep.
What is your biggest motivation when it comes to our kids?
I'm glad you asked this, because I wanted to include this in portion of this show. That, my biggest motivation, I have a couple of them. First of all, my family history, there's a lot of medical issues.
Same on my side.
So, my grandfather was like a diabetic. My grandmother had Parkinson's and had Alzheimer's. And, everything from that. Yeah. Like, my father used to tell me that no male in his bloodline on his side of the family has ever lived past 60. So, and I grew up with a fear of that, and I'm kind of starting to realize that I can live to be 100. I can live to be 120. It depends on how I take care of myself, mind, body, and spirit. I think that's been my biggest motivation with my kids, or our kids, I should say.
Yeah.
That I want them to know that they can make themselves whatever they want to be. They have the ability to change things. Yes, genetics and all that stuff, but there's scientific proof that genetic traits can also be reprogrammed. It takes a very long time, centuries, but if you start it now, it gives your bloodline a start point, Not to be too out there with things or whatever, but there's proof that you can reprogram yourself with these practices, So that's what I want to bring to them, and that's what motivates me to be better for them in every way. Yep. Fitness, health. I used to have a lot of anger issues, and I'm trying to be a better representative of what you can do with yourself instead of just being furious and whatever. And, yeah.
Make them your why, not your why not.
Yep. Question number 3 for you. What is your why?
I guess my gigantic why is my kids, our kids. And I know that sounds super cliche, but when it comes to my health, I want to be in better health. I want to control my health as I get older, starting now. And I want to do that because of my kids. I want it kind of like you. I want to be around for the long haul with them. I don't want to put them through health scares that for myself. And I want to show them that they're in control of their health. My kids, it's just in business and in life and work, because I want them to see what it's like to be a hardworking person, to be not independent, but to be independent and not need to rely on whatever, that they can control it. And I also want to set them up to be successful in life and to have some financial security. I want to be able to set them up so that when they're old enough and when we one day go, that we have left a nice little nest for them to pass on to their kids, to if when they have children and we pass on and they have something, if like, oh my gosh, we really need a new car, we've been trying to save, we just gave that to them. I want to just be able to provide for them. They're all around, always why I'm doing anything I do.
Mm-hmm. I think an interesting point to interject is that, especially with us, how many times, I remember when we first met, you were going to the gym. You were on the treadmill sometimes when we were chatting. We were,
Mm-hmm.
I was going to the gym on my own, and it was great. Like, we both did our thing, whatever. Then we got together, it slowed down, and then we both decided to go back to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And, we were doing after work or before work or switching things up, and it never quite stuck.
Yeah.
Until we had our kids. And then we were like, wow, it's about more than us now,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a good point of going back to everything in this whole episode about motivation. When you have that proper why, it really sticks,
Mm-hmm.
And
I think something to add about having your why is keep your why somewhere that you're going to see it. I know I have something for Beachbody that I follow every day to kind of make sure I'm hitting all the points I need to hit. And on the top of that, every single week, I rewrite my why.
Mm-hmm.
And it just helps you stay focused. It helps you stay motivated. And I'm at that point now where I don't need to write that down in my everyday life because, as soon as you ask that question, my kids.
Yeah.
That was, I know it's them.
Yeah.
They're always on my mind. So whenever I start to lose that focus, literally they're around all the time. We can't get rid of them. So it's always in my mind that they are my why.
Yeah.
Everything I'm doing, even when they're being Sour Patch Kids and not the sweet part.
No matter what.
They're my why.
Yep.
They're why I think both of us do really everything we do. They're the reason we do this. Yes,
Yeah,
we want to help people, but it's for them.
They spawned into more things. They spawned into us thinking about more than just ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
About them, and then how their impact on the world would be, how their lives would be, and that made us think about our impact on the world and our lives and everybody else's lives. And it's an interesting snowball effect.
Yeah.
And just the last thing we're going to say about it is that, even if you feel like you're in the dark, if you feel like you're absolutely unaware of what's going on or how to get motivated or whatever, obviously we're open to chat. You can come and chat with either one of us. But your why is there.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need another person to help you see it.
You need an outside perspective to show you, kind of guide you, not show you.
Right.
But to guide you to that discovery.
Right. And that's what it's about. Nobody can tell you, this is why you need to get healthy. You need to discover it for yourself. And that's one thing we're both well versed in. And, one way or another, the point of this is that there is something for you. There's always going to be something for you.
Don't be afraid to just reach out, and whether to our personal Instagrams or Facebooks or whatever, or to our podcast Instagram, or to shoot us an email and just be like, I don't know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're here for. We say it all the time, we're here to help you guys. And so, like Josh said, if you feel like you just don't know where to start or where you're pointed, we can help guide you there. I think we're pretty approachable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And fun.
Yeah.
We're super fun.
And I'll put all the information to that in the show notes.
Yes.
Sorry. Everybody.
Yeah, check our show notes.
Yeah, it's been a good time, guys. And I hope this has helped you a little bit. Like we've said before, if you have any questions, want a question featured in the lightning round. By the way, you can always tell us what information you want us to say. If you want to be anonymous, just include that.
Yeah.
If you want us to shout you out, we'll shout you out. That's fine. We don't care. Contribute, hit us up on the socials, and,